So, that was MLP Make Your Mark, Episode 1, ringing in the next generation of My Little Pony. We just finished watching it, me, of course, Cosmic, and Mountain Soul. So, now we're going to do a quick review, and we'll go from there. So, the overall story, not of course including specifics of characters or anything like that, just the overall story, summarizing it up. What do you think?
Yeah. So the overall story basically starts off with the idea that there's going to be an event that's coming up called Maritime Bay. Zip obviously doesn't seem to fit in anywhere, and because of that she has excess time on her hands and starts noticing that magic is acting a bit weird. We follow her through a series of events trying to figure out, okay, what's going on, why is magic disappearing and coming back, and within the time frame of setting up for this event, she's also avoiding her mum because she doesn't seem to want to go back to Zephyr Heights. Overall, she figures out that if ponies act together, they work well and the magic gets stronger, while if they don't work together, the magic disappears and causes issues such as storms brewing and people dropping things or not being able to fly. She voices her concerns to her friends, and they don't believe her because they're too wrapped up with Maritime Bay preparations. When Maritime Bay happens, the harmony of all the ponies gets worse as one individual Earth pony feels left out and is causing a ruckus about how things have changed because of magic, and other ponies are joining in with her disagreement towards the changes. Then an event follows suit where everything seems to fall apart and two ponies are almost going to disappear into the void while they come up with a quick solution of how ponies can work together to make the magic work better so that Sunny can use her alicorn powers to save these ponies falling into the void. In the end, Zip finds her place as an investigator in Maritime Bay and doesn't have to go back to Zephyr Heights, and the ponies learn more about the magic and stabilizing it and how to use it. Did I summarize that pretty well?
You did. You did very well.
Alright.
So with the overall story and and what we've seen develop, we have gone from a Generation 4 series totally focused on building friendships with magic already present in Equestria to magic being a whole new thing introduced, similar to what we deal with today. When new things are introduced, not everyone accepts them. For example, like technology. To have computers in everybody's houses these days, or even a smartphone, not everyone approved of this at first because nobody understood it and what kind of usefulness it could have. But over time, people started to accept it. And I mean, granted, there's a lot of problems with it, but everyone sees it as it's part of our day-to-day lives. Would you agree to this concept?
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, the reason why, like you said, not everybody agreed at it at first, is because the slow technological and other advancement we had never advanced past anything that we had thought of before. When the high technological advancements of computers, even back in the 70s, and actually even before that, but back when technological advances of computers came more to public knowledge, especially in the 70s and 80s, it was something new, something we hadn't ever achieved of that something that high caliber before. For us, computers were, the government has it, the government entities have it, like NASA and all that other stuff. Everybody, all the high tech stuff is government usage, and we don't have to deal with it. But then it became so commonplace everywhere that somebody said it would make this a lot more easier. There's a lot more storage instead of trying to find the paper that you logged 2-3 months ago. So the advancement in this show is that you didn't have magic before, or you had magic before, because if you go back to the movie, they do say, yeah, there was magic at one point. At one point we could fly. At one point we could use magic, but at some point it just disappeared. Nobody's sure why. It just happened. And then with the end of the movie, they got the magic back. And this first episode of Make Your Mark shows that the magic has returned. Pegasi are flying around, unicorns are using their magic. And, at the end of the episode, we saw that the Earth ponies have now gotten their own kind of magic to grow plants, if you will. But that's not the only magic. It's kind of like what happened, what it was with in Generation 4. Certain ponies have a special type of magic that applies only to them. In Hitch's case, he can now understand animals, save for Sparky, the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But he can understand all the other animals, and I'm guessing Posey's big one is probably making, she's got her flower power as she explained it. So I'm guessing there's a possibility that some of the characters will have a specific power that applies specifically to them. Earth pony, Pegasi, unicorn, they have a certain power, a special thing that makes them who they are instead of having kind of like it was in Gen 4. That would be, I think they might do that, and that would be interesting.
May I point out something just random that I just realized? Falky hatched after a great surge of magic, very much like how Spike hatched when Twilight had a great surge of magic in Gen 4.
That is a good point. I never even thought about that.
Correlation.
So it wasn't the care of Hitch himself taking care of the egg, but the magic.
I'm thinking maybe dragons in this reality hatched after a great surge of magic.
Well, the only other way we knew of dragons hatching from Friendship is Magic is a hotbed of lava.
Yeah, I don't know if that
So
works.
that brings up the question, random question. Is magic warm? Is magic hot to the touch?
I don't know if magic is hot to the touch. I would think magic is more of a feeling.
Sorry,
not hot to the touch, but more of a feeling, but not an emotion. Just like not an emotion feeling or a sensory feeling, but an inner feeling. Something that is welling inside of you. That's what I think, but I could be wrong.
Well, if you think of, yeah, you know the joy you can get, you can say that's a warm feeling inside of you.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. I think, personally, I would think magic would be kind of a feeling inside of you. It doesn't feel bad, but it doesn't feel good either. It's kind of a, I don't know how this feels, kind of a feeling, and then boom, magic's like, that's interesting.
Well, the thing we can go off of is like whenever you see like certain unicorns trying to like lift something, that you can see them like struggling with heavier objects, and like they're like actually applying force. Like, do they actually feel it through the horn, or is it just a matter of it's not actual like force, but just mental?
Yeah, I don't think they feel it. I think if it's a unicorn lifting an object heavier than they should be lifting, I think it just uh the force that you're saying. If it's a heavier object, it just takes more concentration as a unicorn. If you're a unicorn, it takes more mental concentration, and you have to be focused on it. Because if you're not focused, it's gonna fall. You gotta
Some sort of mental muscle.
Yeah, you've got to focus, you've got to have concentration, you've got to have clarity when you're lifting objects or trying to do something specific with your magic. I would know, I'm a unicorn. Come on. I'm all about it.
I did notice something about the animation, which is very, very, very small thing. Is cutie marks seem to appear and disappear, but that's a problem that even Gen 4 had. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it seems that all the older ponies, even these, if you want to call them teenagers, and all the adult ponies, seem to have a cutie mark, but only on one side. I've noticed that it's not on both sides. It's only on their right side. It's not on the left side. Every pony has a cutie mark on the right side, but not on their left side.
No, I also noticed that, but I mean, like, I've also noticed that there are ponies that don't have either, but then they do.
Well, I'm sure that, with the Gen 5, they've got to make new cutie marks for just about every pony, so probably running out of ideas for some, and some are harder to even tell what they are. But, I mean, in this picture, you can't see Zips or Pips because they're covered by something else, but you can see the other three, or Hitch, Sunny, and Izzy. Yeah. And if you watch closely, you can see Posies. You can't tell what Posies is, but it is there. I just noticed the older ponies seem to have it, and the younger ones are all blank flanks.
I do have to praise the animators, because a lot of the time you can get a little too focused on what you're trying to show. So the characters, the facial expressions, and sometimes the background can be void-like, but they've done a good job to always like fill in the background, not to the point where it feels full, but like there's enough background there that it doesn't feel completely empty, like I've seen a lot of 3D animators struggle with sometimes.
Right. And it's not like the old animation in the days, which I understand why it's not so detailed in the older days. It was just, it was a 2D image in the foreground where the background was the same exact image the whole time. I understand. I do like how they have added so much more stuff in the background. How a lot of backgrounds are not the same rolling image, not the same stock image, how they're all different, how they keep changing things up. I do like that. I agree. Have so much detail and such.
Oh yeah. And it's not like every scene has to have like a big old farm or an orchard or, a big, like a very noticeable mountain. I mean, this is on the edge of of supposed ocean, I guess, is what they're placing it. That it doesn't have to be huge skyscrapers or anything like that.
Well, I can tell just from looking at this. Posey lives out of town.
Mm-hmm.
She lives in the rural areas of Maritime Bay.
Which actually kind of feeds back into the whole conversation of like, oh, we don't like things to change. If you've noticed, people who live more rural like to stick to tradition. And so when things start to change, they are more against changing themselves. Well done, animators. Well done.
Indeed. Now we get to more into the character side of things. We went if everyone recalls, our previous antagonist was Sprout Cloverleaf, I think his name was, and to a lesser degree his mother, which was kind of an influencer. But Sprout was the main antagonist who, I don't think he really hated the unicorns. He was doing it more for, the feel of power. Whereas
and attention.
What's that?
And attention.
And attention, yes. But it didn't necessarily feel like hate towards other races.
Yeah, I don't think it was that. I think he just felt, I think he felt that he was in the shadow of Hitch all the time, and since Hitch was, since Hitch is who Hitch is, he felt he was in the shadow and he would never shine himself. So he figured, if I can, usurp Hitch, then I can be the guy in the calendar at the fireman's ball or whatever and stuff like that. I think it was just Sprout was didn't want to be playing second fiddle the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I do find it interesting that we don't see Sprout anywhere in this animation, or his mother.
Yeah.
Or any of their products.
Yeah, because if you do go to the time while the Maritime Bay Festival is going on, I noticed at one part in it, that the main foreman of the company, you do see him. It's very short. I can't tell you exactly where it is, but during the Maritime Bay Day Festival, you do see the other male main pony, the foreman from the movie. I don't happen to see the female foreman, but I did see the male foreman. For it was just a split second, but I did notice that he was in the crowd. I believe it was when they were about to sing the song at near the end, or when Pip Petals, which is the last name we found out, was about to sing, unless Pip Petals is a stage name, which it could be. But anyways, when Pip was about to sing the song, I think you saw him in the crowd as they were all the Earth ponies and everybody was going towards the stage. Which brings the second point. Is Pip's last name Petals, or is that a stage name, you think?
Well, I just looked it up, and Zip's last name is Storm, so it's Zephyrina Storm. So I think that's more of a middle name than it is, like, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash. So they're just going by nicknames. Pip, Zip.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I think maybe Pip Petals is just a stage name. A lot of people do that. I mean, it's not like John Wayne's name wasn't John Wayne. That was a stage name.
Yeah.
His real name was Marion Morrison. John Wayne is a much cooler sounding name. So that's kind of what I feel. I mean, authors for books over time have used so many pseudonyms that sometimes you have no idea who this person is because it's not the same name. That's just my thought. It could be a stage name. I thought it was interesting that Petals was the name that came up with it. It sounded interesting. But I'm guessing that their name isn't last name isn't Petals. I don't know if it's Storm or something else.
Their mother's name is Queen Havens.
I really don't think that a last name should have ever been added because think about it. No other pony has a last name. Ponies sometimes have two names, but they don't have a last name in any other one. There's no this pony or that pony is part of this family or that family.
Well, I brought that up because it could be Zephyrina Storm Havens or Pip Petals Havens.
Right there on the far right.
Yep.
On the right side. That's the 4-minute pony from the movie.
Oh yeah.
I knew you'd seen him. Like I know he's there.
Yep.
I assume a lot of ponies will be reused, and we won't have as many background ponies because making 3D models for background ponies is quite difficult.
Yes.
Unlike Next Generation, where you just have the same. I mean, My Little Friendship is Magic, where you just recolor a base and throw them in there.
I mean, if you had enough time to really look at it and think about it, the crowd that they're playing for really isn't all that big. I mean, there's at most maybe 15 ponies here.
Yeah, but look at each one. Each one has different hairstyle. Each one has different eye shapes, or jewelry, or hats. So what I'm saying is, like, designing each of those individually is a lot more work than in Friendship is Magic, where you just change the color of the pony skin, and then you threw them in there.
Mm-hmm. Also,
well, this one
fun. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be real quick with this. Okay, this is look at very carefully at this scene here, and then look at the background. Now, I'm going to rewind a little bit. And this is a nice little animation thing going on here. I mean, it's very, very brief, but you'll catch it right about, well, I don't think I'm at the right angle. I don't think I went back far enough. Right there. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I know it's hard to see since the timestamp's in the way, but you can see, look at all these ponies out here. Look how they're not around the stage. And, I mean, there's quite a few there. But then if we go ahead just a little bit, watch what happens when they turn the camera around. All of a sudden, all those ponies that were in the background are gone.
Mm-hmm.
There is a storm brewing, and as we've seen from this one episode, it seems that when a storm brews, ponies scatter. If you go back to when the first storm brewed, ponies scattered immediately. All 4 of them just ran off the screen from a thunderclap, and it's like, okay, that's weird. Ponies are apparently susceptible to thunder.
Well, I mean,
have
it's just
you
a matter.
Actually seen horses? They get scared by a plastic bag.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know dogs that are scared by a running leaf, so. And literally, not a small dog, big dog. It's like scared of a running leaf, scared of its own shadow.
Hey, I'm just saying they're playing into actual ponies pretty well.
Yeah, I've seen ponies that just are scared of, like you say, their own shadow. I've seen it. It's weird. Thinking, you're like 700 pounds and your shadow weighs nothing.
Yeah, I've seen horses scared of a bat.
I'm talking about horses actually scared of their own shadow.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's weird. But
Anyways, leaning back into the antagonist role, and before I touch on that, I pause this just at the right time because I'm just digging Sunny's expression. I don't know how well you can see it because I know I've got it set to a low resolution, but Sunny is like.
She looks so done.
I like Izzy's expression, like, you know, the one eyebrow raised and the other one not. It's like, what? What I see from this is from the expressions, you know, Hitch is. I'll go from left to right. Then, Zip is kind of looking about, trying to see, you know, it's like, somebody help me out here, so we can, you know, de-escalate the situation. Hitch is surveying the situation, so hopefully nothing gets out of hand. Izzy is questioning the situation, like I said, you know, like, what? Sunny is like, not this again. She is like, I am not having this. Just no. This is the third time this has happened. No. It's like that scene in Aladdin and the King of Thieves when Aladdin brings his dad back to the palace, and Genie figures out, he's like, cold red, and like metal doors come down, and he's got, you know, since he's Genie, you know, they're modern soldiers jumping from planes and cavalry and everything. Of course, the one where they're jumping in the helicopters, right? You know, like Geronimo, Arapaho, Navajo, and then Disney, Pocahontas. You know, Pocahontas jumps off the waterfall or whatever. Anyway, and I'm not sure exactly what Pip is thinking. I'm thinking Pip is kind of, I don't know. She's just not sure what's going on. She's kind of like in the same boat as I think Zip is, just waiting to see what happens if something will escalate. Hitch is hoping nothing escalates so he doesn't have to step in, like I said about Izzy and Sunny. Sunny is just like, not this again. Not again.
But anyways, going back to my original point, we went from Sprout, who was kind of, well, he was the ego without a waffle. But here we have someone who has real discrimination going on. Of course, Posey. Not aware of what her last name is.
It's not given.
No.
Just Posey.
No. So we're introduced to Posey, kind of the knockoff
Posey
Fluttershy.
Bloom.
Yes. The Earth Pony living in the past.
There we go. I mean, we clearly see her say that she doesn't like change. She doesn't necessarily hate the ponies, but she hates the magic and the difference.
Yeah, she doesn't like magic. She feels that the Earth ponies, since they don't have magic when the magic came back, that the Earth ponies got the shaft.
Which in a way is kind of true, but she looks at it all the wrong way, and it just turns into that really bad thing that festers up inside of her, and it turns jealousy into hate and discrimination.
Yeah, kind of.
Your turn, Sol.
Well, they say misery loves company, so if she's feeling very left out, she tries to make others feel the same way because she doesn't want to feel that way by herself.
Mm-hmm. And then
blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
I do also want to point out again that I feel like Zip and Hitch are closer friends than the rest of them, because they seem to have silent communication. Just a moment ago when you had their them looking at each other, sort of figuring stuff out, and then they both sort of have this innate investigation, police sort of thing that they share as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But just the way they interact between them, they seem to understand each other more than the others understand them or interact with them.
yeah,
I feel like there's more friendship, like it feels more natural, their friendship, than some of the other friendships. But that might be because most of this show has been around Zip. Zip and her interactions with the others, especially Hitch.
I think out of the 5, Pip's kind of the one that's disconnected from the rest of them. Because like you said, Hitch and Zip are kind of in the investigative field, trying to figure things out and trying to keep things running smoothly, whereas Sonny and Izzy are just really carefree and ready to explore anything and, ready for action, where Pip is a, social elite, as is clearly shown. And the reason that she connects with it is because Zip is her sister, which is how she connects with the group, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. It's like Sonny and Izzy all have their friendships. Zip and Hitch have their friendships, which, correspond with friendships. But Pip just kind of feels shoved in there. Like, oh, we need a 5th character. We need someone who's fashion or singing so that we can have our sing-along songs that we can sell.
Well,
which I'm happy they have the song still. I would not be watching the show if the songs were not there. Sorry. I still enjoy the songs, so if Pip is the one for the music specifically, and that's about it, I'm happy Pip is part of the show. Don't get me wrong, I just really like music. It really connects me to almost every show I watch. If there's no music, I'm practically not going to get into the show very much.
She does seem to have a greater purpose
here than
she did.
Her dynamic with the friends just doesn't... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying that her dynamic with her friends doesn't seem as organic as all the rest of them.
It's true. Yeah, it's not as connected, but still, since she's part of Zip's since she's related to Zip as her sister, it's kind of, she's, and it's weird in a way, but I guess I can kind of see it because she's the younger sister, and I know that a lot of times younger siblings like to follow their older siblings, even if they're totally different. Mm-hmm. It's the way it was with me and my older brother. That's the way it is with me and my younger brother. The only reason he knows anything about video games is because I got him into it. The only reason I know anything about video games is because my older brother got me into it. So yeah. I think that's why it's connected all better. You've got a certain relation. You got the first friend relationship going all the way back to the movie. You got the friend relationship between Sonny and Hitch, because they're in the first scene together in the movie, and they just grew up through on Maritime Bay. So when Hitch connects with Zip, although Sonny connects with Izzy first, but Hitch goes after Sonny figuring out, and Zip and Pip are connected through family, and Zip connects with Hitch, and Pip follows Zip, and Sonny and Izzy are 2 peas in a pod, and Sonny is hooked with Hitch. That's how you got the whole what is it called? Quintet? Is that right? Yeah. That's how you got the whole main five instead of the main 6. You got the main 5 characters. Everybody was connected in some way.
So it makes you wonder, are we
But
going to
yeah,
have a main 6 in this generation? Or are they just going to keep it
I don't
5?
think so. If it's 6, if there's a main 6, the 6th one would be the dragon whose name is Sparky.
I don't know. I kind of feel like they're slowly building up the main 6 instead of like in Friendship is Magic, where it just sort of came in the first couple of episodes. They're just trying to introduce each character individually, I feel like, as they bring in the characters. So I'm half expecting that what was his name from the villain from
Sprout?
the first?
Which one?
Sprout might come back as a character. But I feel like I've also seen some spoilers where there may be another unicorn. So
Well, that would be they'd have to add another unicorn because there's only one.
yeah.
I suppose we should touch on that subject as well.
I mean, it would be the same thing as it was with Gen 4. Twilight was a unicorn, and she joined the other 5. So it would be the same exact introduction of a new unicorn to a already pre-selected group, as it were. But personally, I mean, my personal thing is I don't think they're going to add another one. They've got Sunny, they've got Hitch, they've got Zip, Pip, and Izzy, and now they also have Sparky, the dragon.
There's this little alicorn over here in this corner. I mean, not alicorn.
I say, yeah, it's not. It's a unicorn.
No.
Yeah,
Beside the alicorn.
I think she's like, what's her face in season 8 that seems like a teacher's pet, but she's actually not. Oh, shoot.
Okay, so you're not talking about Trixie, because the great and powerful Trixie does not work behind anyone's shadow. So
no,
you're not talking about Starlight Glimmer.
I'd had to look it up. I'd have to look it up. Let's see if I can find it. You guys keep.
Oh, you mean? Is it Pompel? The design. One of the designers that worked for Rarity.
No,
Pompel?
It's not her. I know who you're talking about. It's not her. I'm gonna look it up. Okay, so you guys keep going on. I'll get back in when I figure it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I try to stay away from spoilers as much as possible, but I do feel like I've seen that this unicorn is a little bit more than just this end credit helper. I have no big proof of this yet, but
if nothing else, we do get the realization and the feeling that, you know, though Posey was kind of the main antagonist here, she was not really, you know, the big evil villain. She was just somebody who didn't like the way things are, but now has become accepting of it. Spo, open up the curtain, and now we see our main villain of the series, supposedly. A alicorn, I believe they showed her as. I can't really tell. Hold on, I gotta rewind a little bit. It didn't look like... Oh, yeah, she does have wings. She is an alicorn. And, I mean...
Which surprises me because it... Go ahead. Okay. It surprises me that there are actual alicorns because Sunny has alicorn powers, but she doesn't have the proper wings and horns, which makes me wonder, will she develop them later as proper wings and horns later? And because the magic isn't strong enough, she just doesn't have them yet.
It's interesting. I mean, if magic has returned to Equestria and she lives in Equestria, I would assume that the magic is connected to her. But I'm curious. I really wonder how. I mean, if she was, let's just say she was spying on the three societies for who knows how long. How was she able to do that without magic? Considering it probably takes magic for her to view what she's currently looking at.
That is a good question. Unless she has some sort of relic like a crystal ball.
Ooh, yeah, you're right. Because at the end of MLP, or near the end, or not the last season, but the season before that, when Cozy Glow locked away this the main six. Remember, the only way they could access Tartarus was with a relic, and the relic had stored magic. So actually, you might be more right than you think here.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking about, was Cozy Glow. Cozy Glow was the one kind of working under, more or less. She had her own ambitions, let's put it that way, that were, not good. And then after she was exposed, was sent to Tartarus with Tyrek and all the other fun people, and Sombra, all the other fun people who are also in Tartarus. All the other antagonists from previous seasons.
I do like to point out here that there is still the factory from the very first show right there, and the town is built around it still. So it's not like it's just disappeared off of the face of the earth.
No. So hopefully we get, a reintroduction to what the factory is being used for now. Because I would say, the thing is, technology, like anything else, is constantly moving forward. So the technology that was used against the other races needs to probably be reutilized to be used for other races. Or maybe they could have just shut down the factory and condemned it. Who knows? But it seems kind of a waste.
Well, yeah, it does, but that happens. I mean, think about our building that's out east of our town, Copper. I mean, across from where the new McDaniel's furniture store is. That place has been down for years.
Right.
And it's gone.
I do. Yeah. Well, it's actually more across from the hospital.
Well, yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. It's gone through so many renovations. It's been like 4 different companies since I've lived here, and since it's been shut down, it has never been reopened ever.
I mean, please remember that the factory was a factory for fashion that they used also to spread fear of the other races. So this could just have turned into a clothing factory instead.
Yeah, it's true. Because they were, saying, oh, well, this is... Because it was, now you can wear this to get away from... to stay safe and stuff. So it's possible that, instead of adding tech to your clothing... No, sorry, I know it's 2023, but sorry, no power laces yet. No size adjusting jackets. We're not that far yet. Instead of adding tech to your clothes, just no more tech, just clothes. Which personally, I would rather just have that. I'd rather button my pants like a normal person.
So
I would like to point out that Maritime Bay, right here in this image right here, is actually on a cliff, and it's not actually a bay. A bay is a broad inlet of sea where the land curves inward. This doesn't look like it's curving inward.
No.
I can see it curving inward. It's just that where they're at, it's on the inside of that curve.
Yeah.
See,
so it's kind of like on a cliff.
Yeah, it's on a cliff, but it's on that curve, and also a lot of times a bay is not a perfect inlet kind of a curve. A lot of times a bay is a bunch of jagged rocks And it's like, oh, that's a bay, because the massive part of it where the ships would actually come in is more port friendly. And a lot of times, if you're going to build a city, it's not a port. The city is away from the port, and the port is the port. The port is where all the ships are, and the city is further inland. I mean, I know that kind of stuff because I used to, live on as close to an island as you can get without being on an island. If you live in Florida, you see a lot of ports. And I'm sure you see a lot of ports wherever you live in different places, but a lot of times the port was just the boats and the shipyards, and the town was, a mile and a half away. You either walked there or got a taxi, because taxis and cabs or whatever you want to call it nowadays. I guess it's Uber and Lyft nowadays, but usually you had to do that, or if you were, lucky enough to own a port front, as we called it, you lived right there near the ships and the docks and everything. A lot of people had those, but those were mostly studio condo apartments, so you had to be rich.
I would also like to point out that to the left, they've kind of cut it off, so they've left themselves room to add in a dock or a shipyard, if you will, because we still have.
We already know that there's a beach, and it's not being shown in this image itself.
Correct.
Yeah, it's also possible that, over the time that this is a normal water level for a bay, and they just got, that built up just in case of, possible. Although it doesn't really seem like it happens much, but a lot of times if you build up higher on the rocks, if there's a possible quote-unquote hurricane, which I don't think will happen in the show because there's too much build-up for an actual hurricane, you build higher up on the cliff, a lot less chance you'll get a storm surge. It could be that it's just a show and doesn't really matter, and they're not going to really think that a whole bunch of people are going to get this deep as we're getting deep into it. A bay, it doesn't look anything like a bay.
No, I know. Just one more thing. I know I'm nitpicking this, but from all the action and watching the video, I always thought that the lighthouse was to the right if you were looking at the Maritime Bay from the water. But it looks like it's actually to the left.
Well, if you remember Sunny's pathing... Hold on, let me rewind it just a little bit here. I don't know if you can see my cursor or not. 1 second here, let me pause it right here at the furthest. Yeah, everything that we've seen puts the lighthouse over to the right side, right about here. In fact, in several scenes in the movie, you could see it from Sunny's cart, in fact. And it was over here to the right. But there is no road or anything
maybe
in that
it's
direction.
farther away from the town than I thought.
Hold on a second here.
Lighthouses are strategically placed.
Let me see. There is a scene. Oh, wait.
Yeah, the lighthouse is far on the cliff, and I think if you go back, I know where the cliff is, I believe. And it's just barely off screen if you go back to the end where we were at.
We're going to be drawing maps up of Maritime Bay in no time.
Okay, so we got the overhead shot of Maritime Bay. There's the foreman again.
Yep.
Actually,
I didn't go back far enough, I don't think. What's that?
Made a map of Maritime Bay.
I wouldn't doubt it. I probably wouldn't doubt it. I mean, they made a map of, MLP and Gen 4, and it expanded as we got more seasons. The area expanded and got larger and larger and larger. I know because I used to have a Season 4 map, and then I got a Season 8 map, and it's like, this is a lot bigger than the Season 4 map. There's hippogriffs and stuff.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I know where the cliff is. If you go back to the end where we were a second ago, where she's looking at the Maritime Bay through the crystal ball, I know exactly where it is. It's cut off.
Yep.
You won't see the lighthouse. It's cut off. It's just on the edge of where you can actually see.
Okay, so right here, looks like I'm right about there.
Yeah.
Hold on. Almost there. And... Right about here. So yeah, that puts the lighthouse like right about here.
Yeah, because if you look closer at the beginning, which don't need to go back to it, the shoreline cuts in there and then comes out. That thing that looks like maybe like it would be a low wall. I think that's the rail line.
Yeah, there's that trolley line that we see when Zip catches
that's where it's at.
The two foals falling out of the sky. She lands right about here, which behind her you can see the lighthouse over to the right-hand side.
Yeah, that lighthouse is off screen.
Which is weird. That there's no visible road heading back there, which in the movie you could clearly see a road.
Well, you just can't see it from this. This is a very high shot. See, the reason we can see the road leading up to the factory is because it's a road that was walked on a daily basis. The only people who lived at the lighthouse was Sonny and her dad, Argyle. Two people living at a place, the road is not going to be that well traveled.
I'm amazed at how much we're nitpicking when this one little scene.
It's an important scene.
It is.
Highly important. So that's why we're nitpicking it. But yeah, that's my point to it. Either that or the road is hidden in that grove of trees there, which is very possible because the road itself isn't just like isn't like just a straight road. It's got some twists and turns in it without a doubt. So it could be hidden in that grove of trees, and it's possible that grove of trees that it's hidden in, that it comes down, because it looks like where there's that little tiny break, right there where your cursor just was, that break of trees, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Go back. Where that little break is, it looks like that's a hill. It's possible that road to the lighthouse is beyond that little dale, and it goes down in a valley kind of sort. So there's that dale, but the road is actually in the valley.
I gotcha.
And you wouldn't be even able to see it. But that's something that we'd have to, really get deep down and see if there's actual road, and nitpick it at that point. And then of course, who knows? I mean, that's my best guess because of where the platform for the song was in context, where we see, that makes the best sense that the lighthouse is where we guessed it was because of where the platform is. I'm just putting it in conjunction with that. But yeah, and like Soul said, here's a beach. Where's that on Maritime Bay? We don't see it.
Here we go.
Very. Yeah, that's not going to help.
I don't know if it gives us a better
You can see
shot
part
of
the town. No, go back.
Hold on.
I think I saw what. Just hit the 10.
Oh, wait, there it is.
Yeah, that's still kind of. Yeah, that's the picture that was there was fine. That's not fine.
Hold on.
Because it cuts off the top half.
Netflix is not super responsive.
Map.
Okay.
Just go back to the one before he's looking at the egg and speaking to it delicately, because that's going to be better, because you can actually get more of the... Yeah, right there.
Dagnabbit.
Darn you, Netflix.
I know. Netflix is not as responsive as some programs. It's got a delay to it. Hold on. And boom. There.
Right there. Okay. You can see the town. What it looks like is that the road up to the lighthouse, which is right there on the very top, it's got to be it. There's nothing else in there. It looks like there's not even a road that leads up that's on the map marked to it. that main line there is probably the trolley line. That black line there is probably the trolley line, because that's what it seems like it is. Because there's not really a road. The trolley line is the main form of travel next to walking in Maritime Bay, which makes a lot of sense. Being that it is a Earth pony settlement, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can see that the cliff comes down.
yes,
and
the cliff.
Like there is a little beach right there.
Yeah. There's a beach. It looks like it's maybe, about right where your cursor is, or maybe a little bit further. I mean, what's the? I'm not sure of the building there on the far left, near the bottom of it. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, but you can clearly tell that the lighthouse is up there at the top of the map. And like I said, I'm guessing that black line is the trolley line, being that that's the only. It's the most probably one of the highest technological advancements the Earth ponies had. Yeah.
Okay.
Can't say advancements correctly.
That's a slightly better angle.
And the black road there, I'm guessing, is the trolley line, because it does go past everywhere in town, save for the factory, which was right behind Hitch's ear there. Now it's not. Right above Hitch's head is where the factory is. That thing that looks like it's kind of like a fortress, a little bit higher.
Up here?
No, a little bit higher.
I want to say the thing that.
Yeah, that looks like it.
The thing that's sticking out, that looks like a second lighthouse. It almost looks like a church.
That's possible. It goes right by the trolley line, so it's a good place. Some sort of gathering place, I would guess.
Okay, keep this image in your heads, and let me go back to, let me find it right about here. Okay, now I need to rewind. Handing, probably the first thing we see is Posey taking the mic. Yep, I knew, called it.
The poor people listening to our podcast are like, okay, we didn't come to watch you look over the map.
I think that's a gazebo.
Yeah, that's probably a gazebo.
I think that is the gazebo that Sunny passes in the movie on her way to, with her cart, on her way to the factory there in the middle.
Exactly.
Okay, I see.
Because she passes that gazebo, and that's where the trolley line actually, that trolley line, goes around it. So what it is that, the trolley line goes where it does through the town, but it just the trolley line just runs on the cliff side there. But it drops people off at the gazebo. The gazebo would kind of be like a picking up place.
Right here. This is the gazebo.
It's kind of like a station for the trolley.
Yep.
It'd be the equivalent of a bus stop. It's where they go hang out at the gazebo and get stuff done there, and the trolley comes by and you jump on the trolley to go to work or go back to your house or whatever. I mean, not everybody in Maritime Bay is a young equine. There's got to be some that are older and some that are younger. So all the fit ones can walk, but the older and younger, no, they get tired. Like those two right there, no cutie marks, blank flanks.
Yep. Also, there.
And it's
right
funny
that
we
gazebo.
see the. Yeah. I think it's also funny that the unicorn pony there, the green one, he has a father that looks exactly the same.
I know, I was just thinking that.
Looks exactly the same. Either that or he grew up really fast and became a hippie. But yeah. Oh, dang it. I wonder, is that the new magic capture or magic inhibitor? Fruit on the horn. New magic inhibitor.
There you go.
Got a tennis ball? fruit on the horn.
Touching up on what you said earlier about Pip, I think Pip actually serves a greater purpose in this episode than she did in the movie. She's kind of the tech advisor.
Pip, well, she's so popular, so her being she's the one able to spread the message about to all the races, Earth, Unicorn, and Pegasi, because
which would also include us as viewers.
Right, she is ready. She is able to spread her experience to all other inhabitants of the area because everybody knows who she is. She's famous. So since she's famous, people tune in. She can tell everybody about the events. It's kind of like she's it's a form of communication without being a newspaper or a phone call line in the really old days. She is a source of communication in the way it's like, oh, this is going on. Why don't you come and join us? Because everybody knows her and she's famous and all that. Mm-hmm. Another perfect shot of a gazebo.
Yes. But pay attention on the direction this bird flies. Okay, we know right now we're kind of heading in the factory direction.
We're going north.
As far as we can tell, we're still heading north.
Yeah.
Still on the trolley line.
Doesn't seem like they went that far there.
Well, they may not have.
Okay, now we're
headed to Posey's house. So
that would have been going west now, I think.
I know where we are.
Because west was more farmlands.
Yeah. Okay. This road here is actually. I know everyone's getting tired of me doing this, but it's just good to reference exactly where we are in the world.
I kind of wish that they'd released like an official map. It would help them as animators, and it would help us as fans.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had a full-fledged map by Season 2 of Generation 4. Okay.
Well,
it's this road right here.
Oh, okay. So they are going more north.
Yeah, just over this hill is Posey's house. So she's like way out of town. She's actually further out of town than Sunny is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, are we done wrapping up all this now?
I think we've covered everything we needed to cover in the first episode. It would be...
All right.
I'm really looking forward to see what, these two characters have to offer.
I do too. I'm excited.
The unicorn on the left has got some curls going on there.
Yeah. But I mean, this is a alicorn we've never seen or heard of before, so we don't even know where she came from, which sort of adds to the mystery of alicorns. Like, where do they come from?
Well,
was she made an alicorn by Twilight? Or was she born an alicorn later on? Like, what's her name? Flurry Heart.
Yes. Oh gosh, I really hope this isn't Flurry Heart.
The colors aren't the same.
They're close. I mean, Flurry Heart was pink.
Not at all. Flurry Heart was light pink.
Yeah, but maybe like with some animals, her fur got darker as she got older. Oh gosh, that is not a pleasant thought. Oh my.
No.
Okay, if this is in fact
Flurry-
Flurry Heart, I'm done with the series. I'm done.
Flurry Heart has purple hair and light pink body. This is not Flurry Heart.
Oh my.
This is a complete swap on colors. This is not Flurry Heart.
Okay.
It looks more like an evil Twilight than anything. Because she has the dark purple body, but she has this light blue mane, turquoise mane.
And she kind of has this weird kind of oh, what's that skin condition? Like it's not like where you have like pigments on your skin. What's it called? Any, it's a skin condition. I can't think of it.
Does it start with an E?
I don't know if it.
The
I don't
only-
know if eczema
the only
is.
skin- That's the only skin condition I know. I don't know any other skin condition besides eczema.
But anyways, it's almost like a skin condition in the front of the face. But maybe it's the lighting. I don't know.
I think it's the lighting. I don't think that's actually patterning of the fur.
Maybe it's just a bunch of rouge she slapped on her face. I mean,
Too
she
much
does
makeup.
have. Oh yeah, she's got like eyeliner on, so I mean, why wouldn't there be rouge on her face?
Yeah.
But I mean, she kind of stands out, but then my eyes just get drawn to this character over here on the left. The unicorn. I mean, you can't. Yeah, she can't just be a one-off character.
Well, why would she be introduced at the very end with no lines, new design, to this evil Alicorn's place? So I think she has a little bit more to offer soon.
I'm pretty sure she's like the cozy glow, more or less, of Gen 4. She's working under this evil mistress, this evil Alicorn lady, and I think she's more kind of like a go-between. She doesn't really have a lot to do in Maritime Bay or any of the other places, but she goes back and forth in between. She's like a messenger, more or less. She brings back the information. She's a gatherer of information. She figures out what's going on and brings it back. And that's the only reason that she, feels needed. I don't know. Something like that. That's the only way she feels useful.
If you want to argue any Alicorns from Gen 5, I'd say this Alicorn would be closer to Cozy Glow, because Cozy Glow is a pink pony with blue hair.
No, I'm not saying that's Cozy Glow. I'm saying she's like Cozy Glow, not the Alicorn either. I'm saying the lackey there, the single unicorn, is like Cozy Glow.
Oh,
the go-between, one that gathers information and brings it back to the big boss, as it were.
Definitely a lot to think about.
That's what I think. I don't know.
We will discuss this after the next episode, of course, because we are out of time. So, to wrap it up, overall, it's a good introduction, I think, to the series, and I can't wait to see more.
Agreed.
Thank you all for listening and watching us rant about map.
Exactly. We hope to see you here again next time on the Omega Republic. I am once again Coppercat.
I am Mountain Soul.
And I'm Cosmic Pros. Have a great day.